Hello everyone, today we will take a look at the Qt Designer, another powerful tool from Qt that we can use in our app development. It is a drag and drop UI builder that you can use to build user interfaces. So instead of focusing on writing code for the UI, you can actually use a drag and drop builder to build it, and then you can write code for the logic. At least that is where you can put your focus instead of just focusing on the UI, because you can just use the drag and drop to build it. Okay, so before we can use the Qt Designer, we have to install it through the pyqt5-tools. So you can open your terminal like I have. I am using the Windows terminal, the git bash, the Windows terminal. And then I'll type pip install and then pyqt5. This one, all of them are in lowercase, and then -tools. This one to install all that we need onto our computer for us to get started and use the Qt Designer. So I'll press enter and then give it time to install. And when it is done, I'll be back. Installation is successful, but with some errors. It's telling us that Qt5 tools requires click version which is greater than or in the range of the 7.0, but not 8. And you can see that click is part of the packages that were installed. So it's collected click, and then the version that came was 8.13. One of the fixes is to downgrade the installation that we currently have to anything between 7.0 and then 8. So go by pip install, and the next time around inside quotes, click. And we are looking for any version which is greater than or equal to 7.0, and then also the same time less than 8.0. You just press enter and then it will do the installation for you. So now you can repeat the command by installing pyqt5-tools, and then now you can see that it's successfully installed without any problem. So now we can have access to our designer and then use it. Now that our installation is successful, what we can do is to try and open the designer to see what even it is. So what I'm about to do, it may work for some of you, it may not even work for me, but if it works for you, fine. If it doesn't, there's another way to do it. So just type designer. Okay, designer is not really found. Let me change this one to the command prompt and see. And then type designer. Designer is also not found in the command prompt. Let me try the Windows PowerShell. And designer is also not found. So if you are also getting these errors, there's one way to go about it. We can locate it where it is actually installed on the PC. So this is inside this PC, you want to access your local disk C. From that place, go to users, and then your username, in my case, Tommy. In here, make sure that you come to the view tab and check this box that says hidden items to enable us see the hidden items. And then come inside AppData, local. We want to go into programs from local. We have to access Python. And depending on the Python versions you have installed, you have a lot of folders here, but I only have 3.8. So make sure you check the Python version that you installed the designer in. That way you can just type Python in the terminal to give you the Python version. But because mine is just one, I'll just open this folder. And in here, you go to lib. Oh, no, you don't go to lib. You go to scripts. Not even scripts. Okay, libs. Yes, not that one also. I don't know why this one is. There's a place where Python keeps our installed files. I think it should be lib. Yes, it's lib. Yeah. And then inside lib, you go to site packages. Inside sites package, you see most of the installations that you have done on a Python or the packages you have installed. You see the PyQt5 tools that we installed here, but that's not the object of interest. We are entering PyQt5 or Qt5 applications. Inside Qt5 applications, open the Qt folder. And then that one also, we open the bin folder. When we open that, we'll see the other tools that came with the Qt5 tools installation. All the ones that have the green icons are the ones we can use, but the one we are interested in is this designer.exe. Double click it, wait for some time so that it opens. So this is the Qt designer. That means we have it installed on our PCs. But for now, we'll not do anything. We'll come back here in a short while. I just wanted to show you where it is found in case your designer in the command prompt didn't work. So I'll close this one. And what you can do is to right click on it. And then in here, I want to pin it to my taskbar so that anytime I want to access it, I don't have to navigate this long path before I get access to it. So I have pinned it to my taskbar, which you can't see at the moment. So you can also right click on it and then pin it to your taskbar. And then you can open it from your taskbar by clicking on it anytime you want to use it. So now I just click on it from my taskbar and then the designer will open. So anytime I want to use it, I can just click on it from that place. You can also pin it to start if you want to. By the way, I will leave the link to this long path in the description, and you can just replace my name with the name of your PC or user, and then once you paste it up here and you hit enter, it will take you there. So now that we have it installed, let us see how we can use it for our UI designs or development. If you are on a Mac or you are using Linux and you also have a problem when you type designer in your terminal, you can follow along the same path by going to the same, finding first where the Python installation or the Python file has been installed, and then the same folder structure, you can get the Qt designer in there. But if it all doesn't work for you, you can also download the designer as an executable and install. I'm not so sure for those using Linux, but for the Mac, yes, you can get it. Inside your favorite search engine, you can search for Qt designer download. And then this first link that says FN man, you just click on that one. It will take you to this page. And then if you're on a Mac, you can click here and then download it and then go through the normal installation process on Mac to install it onto your computer. And then we can open it and then we all take it off from there. I'm not so sure for the Linux, but it should work for the terminal. If it doesn't work, just locate the file to the folder structure. I will link it in the description below. And then let's get started. Let us now see how we can use it. This is the first screen or what you first see when you open the Qt designer. Offering us some templates. This box here you see is the preview of the template. So if I click on the dialog button so that the preview comes, this one also, and then a blank widget. But in most cases, you remember from the first video that the widgets are top level. So I can use a widget to create a window. But I explained to you also that we need a main window rather so that we can nest multiple widgets easily. Down here, if you want to open a UI file you have created before or you have done some works before, they will also appear in this drop down. Or you can also close this menu. The same menu can also be accessed up here with the new icon. And then for now, let us create a main window. So create. And this is the window with the title main window. The left side of the designer is where your widgets are. So from this place, you can drag and drop any widgets that you want onto our form. So let's say I want to drag the test edits. Now it is here. Can drag and drop it onto the form and then resize it any way I want. I can also add multiple widgets. So let's say I also want a button. I bring it here, it's called a push button. Let's say I also want a label. Can bring the label here. I can arrange my widgets how I want them to be on the screen. But on the right side also is where we have the object inspector. The object inspector is just a tree view of the widgets that we have. So we can see that there's the main window, which is the main window. And then there's a central widget, the key widget. The central widget we have been setting in almost all the tutorials we have been doing. And then inside the central widget, we have a label, which is this one, the test label, coming from the QLabel class. And this name label is the name of the object. And then we see the class also. The plain text edit is the editor we have here. And then there's also a push button. But if we had frames or layouts in there, you will see the tree nested nicely. Now to this place where the property editor is. This widget like the push button, if I make it large enough, this object like the push button, you see the name on it. And then there's also the object name. The object name is the name that after converting this UI file to Python, this is the name you will use to connect functions to this push button. So if you want it to perform an action when it is clicked, this is the name you use inside your Python file to connect that particular action to this particular widget. And that is different from the name that appears on the widget itself. So if this is a submit button, I change the name on the button by double clicking on the name, but the object name still remains push button. And I can also modify it here in case I have multiple push buttons so that I differentiate them well. Let me just add one more. And that will be cancel. The text on it will be cancel. Now I have two buttons, but this one says push button 2. That immediately tells us that this object name is unique, just like we declare variables for them in Python. They should be unique. Two widgets cannot have the same name in our application. So this is where we can also name them. So this one can be submit and the push button, and then this one can now be cancel push button. This text also is the label. So this is the name, object name that we use in our code. And then we can add whatever text we want here. Now we can see that the size is too small for the text, so we can resize it to make more room for the text. And we can also see that there are a lot of properties that we can change on a particular widget. For example, we have this the label. We can change properties with respect to the QWidget class for that particular widget. So in here we can change the font of this one. We can choose any font we want. We can choose to make it large. That is, the text appear large.
And then we can also perform all other font properties that we see down here. Want it to be italic, to be, and all that. And we can even change the style of the cursor as we hover over that particular widget by just choosing one of them from here. So if I do choose the open hand, that one may not be visible while you are in this mode unless we preview it. So when we preview it, you see that the hand or the cursor will change to an open hand. And we do the previewing by coming to form and then to preview. This is the button. When I hover over it, my mouse cursor remains the same. But when I come to the hello, see that it changed to the hand. That is because I chose that the cursor for that particular widget should be open hand. And then going for, you can change all these properties, the tooltip and the status tip. That is some pop-up message that will appear when we hover over it, or a message that will appear at the status bar when we pass our mouse cursor over that particular widget. And then we come to the settings specific to the frame. So for a test like this, you can see that there are some dots that are connecting. We can look at that one as a frame and then change these settings to be whatever you want it to be. And then last is the properties of the particular widget. So in this case, it's the label. We can see that the text is here. I can change it to, can change the text here and then it will adjust accordingly. So this is another place where I can also change the text. And here I can choose other specific text properties like the alignment for the text, for the horizontal, align left or align right, and then for the vertical align. If I choose align top, so that the text moves to the top of each frame, align to the bottom, it comes to the bottom of each frame. So I can use all these properties also to adjust the behavior and then the position of my widget on my UI. If I click on the button, you see that the properties change. For this place, for the widget side, it will mostly remain the same. But for the other ones, it will change based on the particular widget you have selected. So the text on the button, of course, is cancelled. There's no icon. We can set the button checkable and all. And that's all. That button does not have so many properties as opposed to the label. And we can also check the properties for the plain text edit. And we can change it any way we want it to be. And now at the top here, let's just finish this side. We can see three things here: the signal and slot editor. We can also see the action editor and then the resource browser. The signal and slot editor will help us to add some signals and slots just without writing any code. So let's just say that we want our cancel button to close the window when we click upon it. Now when I come to form, but what I mostly do now is I don't choose the preview directly. That one will work. It will preview it in a particular style, but I choose preview in. And here you can preview in three styles. The first is the Windows Vista style, which is the default, I guess. The second one is the Windows style, which is the old Windows style. And then the third one is my favorite, the Fusion style. So that is what I will mostly be using for my preview. Now I'm clicking on the cancel button, but nothing is happening. But first, let us enlarge the text on these buttons. I think the text is quite small. So I was clicking on the cancel button, nothing was happening, but I can add a signal here. Now this sender, I can choose the sender from here. The widget that is sending the signal. And in here, I'll have a list of all the widgets I have on my UI. So the widget is now, the signal is coming from the cancel button. And the particular signal, my window and my screen is quite small. So let me. The particular signal here we are looking for is like when it is clicked. So whenever it is clicked, we want to send a signal to a particular receiver. And this time around, the receiver will be the main window. What we want the main window to do when it receives this signal, we want it to close. So we can just use this side to perform some quick signals and slots. And we don't have to type code for it. The designer will do it automatically. So when I go now and then preview, I click on cancel and then the window closes because I have created some signal and slots here telling it what to do. So you can use this one to make some quick things before you actually even type them in code by writing functions manually. Then the action editor. The action editor is where we create actions. The actions are what we put on toolbars and then inside our menu items. So if I want to create an action, I can come here and type the name of the action, say new, and then the object name, which is the name that will be used in our Python file to connect our actions to the particular icon or action that you have created. So we're going to connect maybe the logic for the opening of the file to the open action. Here is the tooltip, a little message that will pop up if the user hovers over the action. And then here we can also define the particular icon we want to attach to the action. And this place too, we can declare some shortcuts also. So we just click inside and then you type the keyboard shortcut by actually pressing on the particular shortcut. Or let me, this is new to the particular shortcut. So Control N will be the shortcut for this action. When I click on it, I'll see that the action has been added here. I can drag it. And then if I had a toolbar here, I can put it on it. But for now, I don't have the toolbar there. But whenever you create a new form in the Qt Designer, you can right click here and then you can add toolbar. The moment I right click and add toolbar, it adds the toolbar for me automatically. And now I can drag this thing and put it on my toolbar. And the creating of menus is also quite simple. I can see here it says type here. Type here, so once I double click in and type, let's say this is the file menu. And then immediately I can add other sub menus. So here is open. And you can look at whenever I add a new menu item to any menu up here, it creates an action down here because it is only an action that can come here. So it creates an action down here. So I created one for open. Let me create one for save. And the moment I press enter, you see that it comes down here. And I can also come in here, right click on it and edit it, add shortcuts, icons, and all that. And I can also create a new one if I want to, so file and then maybe edit. In the same manner, I can add the rest. You see the add separator here also. I can click on it and then I will see some separator there, which just makes our work nice. So I will just separate them. So when I preview this one, I have my menu and then my menu items. To the top here, of course, this is new and open and save. But these other icons are what we use, especially this side, what we use for the layouts. So we learned about layouts, how they help us to arrange our stuff on our UI. And this is the horizontal layout used for laying out our items horizontally. So if I select these three by holding Control and Command on Mac, and then I click on this layout, automatically there will be a layout created. This red outline will not show in our preview. I can show you that. It will not show just to help us while we are designing. You see that automatically it has laid the three items in a horizontal way. But if I want to delete or remove that layout, I can come to this break layout, then it will break. But if I select the same three elements and then go now and then lay out vertically, I'll see that it has been laid out vertically. In the same manner, there is also an option for the grid and then an option for the form. And you can experiment with each of them to see what they do for our widgets. So let me just click on the grid. It appears to be the same now, but if there were multiple items on different rows, you see that it will arrange them nicely in a grid. So that will be all for the introduction to the Qt Designer. In the next tutorial, we'll see how we can use it in building some application. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next video.